Hello, my Teaserking family. If at first, second, third, fourth you don't succeed, try again. I kept getting twice. I got kicked off once I finally got on, and there was no sound because I can tell by my buttons. Anyway, here we are. I got a 12:30 haircut, so I can get ready for my trip, and it's 12:30, so I got to leave by 12:15. So would have had 20 more minutes, but we don't. Anyway, so let's take a look at our paper gold, 2661. So yesterday it went down and down, and now today it's all up. 36, 46, 56, 66, got up to 70, and then 61 at 10 o'clock, which we expect a little 10 o'clock drop, but a nice back to 2661. The games continue. This is why I call it paper gold, because this price is bullshit, and it's just created by derivatives, which are options, put options and call options. So when it goes up, they put a put option in to get it down. But what they don't understand is there's too much demand for gold, and they're going to keep pushing the price up, which then makes it where you can't short something that's going up. Right. So it's like you're eating cakes every day and your weight's going up, and then you say, "Well, I bet I'm going to lose 20 pounds." And you keep eating cake. It ain't going down. It ain't going down. So anyway, so that's what we got here. Silver 31.64, up 50 cents again. Yesterday's total bullshit. So keep in mind, it's got nothing to do with supply and demand. It's only options that are settled. The gold goes up because the Chinese settle the gold and say, I want to take delivery. And then so they're actually buying it off of COMEX, which makes the price go up. But normally, when we go to the coin store or SD Bullion or any of these Yankee Doodle Dandy guys, it has no impact on the price at all. It is not free market. Let's talk a minute on free market. What's free market? Well, free market is I want to sell this card and I'm going to sell it what the market will bear. I don't know what it's worth. I'll put it on auction. I get it. I get $1,000 for it. That's the value of the card because somebody paid me 1,000. That's the market. In collectibles, it's a lot of competition in many sports. Jim Brown, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. I mean, Gordie Howe, Bobby Orr. So there's a lot of competition in cards, right? But the price is what somebody bought it for. It's free market, and the market dictated the price. In whiskey, it's the same thing. You got Canadian Club, but you got Dewar's, and you got Crown Royal, and you got Seagram's, you got Black Label and Dewar's, and you got vodka, and you got gin, and you got Sapphire, Bombay, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of competition, but there's a lot of demand. There's a lot of demand for sports and baseball cards. There's a lot of demand for paintings. There's a lot of demand for limited stuff because people think they'll make a lot of money, or at least they'll make money. You buy an old Mantle card now, you're buying it because A, you love Mantle, and B, you know that price is going to go up. And C, you want something that says 50 on it because then you know it's limited, and then you know this should go up. But anyway, so that's the whole theory. People want to make money. That's why we work. We work to make money so we can eat and we can have a house or a place that you can live. And then you need furniture and buy a TV and you buy a computer and a phone. So you need to work or you need money to do all this. And so if you can make money with the money, even better. I got to play this one thing. We'll get into football. This is for you guys who love Jim Rogers, and I pity you, basically. I've been watching a lot of Mr. T. So Jim Rogers, you're going to love this. That is if I can find it. Let's see. All right. Jim Rogers, hold your cash. Okay.
In 2024, it may not be enough to sit on your stocks and hope they move. While some experts believe. I'll ask you two questions. One about.
All right. So you're going to listen to this and you're going to go, I don't like Jim Rogers anymore. He's an idiot.
Well, don't worry. But when Washington says don't worry, I worry. I worry a lot. So as far as my investments are concerned, I have sold nearly all stocks all over the world. The only places I still have shares are China. The China stock market is depressed. It's one of the few stock markets in the world that's depressed. And Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is an old Soviet, whatever they call them, Soviet
Satellite,
economy,
you moron.
which was ruined by the Russians. Now it's changing. And so Uzbekistan may be an extremely exciting place to make money. China may be too. So other than that, I am worried about the world. I will repeat, the U.S. stock market has had no problems for the longest in American history. So I'm very, very worried about what to do with my money. I have a lot of cash, and I have the cash mainly in U.S. dollars. The reason I have it, I mean, the U.S. is a terrible place as far as fundamentals. The U.S. is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world, and it's getting worse every day. So you should say, well, why do you own U.S. dollars? And the reason I own U.S. dollars is because when the turmoil comes, people will look for a safe haven, and many people think the U.S. is a safe haven. It's not. We're the largest debtor nation in history, but because people think it's a safe haven, the U.S. dollar will go up. If it happens that way, I'm smart enough to sell. And now one of these smart panelists is going to say, well, what are you going to do with the money then? And I don't have an answer. Maybe you have an answer.
I don't have an answer. Don't you love that? And you guys like Jim Rogers. I've got all this money. People are running from the US dollar. He's so, what an idiot. People are de-dollarizing. So nobody's running into the dollar. They're all selling their dollars. And what are they buying? Gold. All the central banks, a lot of people. I'll interview in Italy what's going on. So I got my money. I'm going to sell the stocks or whatever, and I'll have dollars. And I don't know what to do with the dollars. You're not buying gold? The only thing that can save you is gold. And you don't know what you're going to do with the money. You're going to watch them. You're going to watch the Titanic sink. Jim Rogers. So you guys like Jim Rogers. I don't think you like him anymore. And that's the bottom line. I've been watching a lot of, there's a McMahon show on Netflix. So they got The Rock and Stone Cold on. It's adorable. But I don't know what I'm going to do with my money. What have I been teaching you for the last 3 years? You got to get it out of the money because it's worthless, because they're printing it to death, and you go into gold and silver. It's very simple, yet, well, I don't know what to do with my money. I'm going to be in money. Everybody likes it because the U.S. No, they don't like it anymore. They're running away from it. They all are leaving the U.S. for bricks and for gold. Chucklehead, what are you doing, man? So again, another guy that I warn you not to listen to. You like him. Why do you like him? I'm through with this witness. All right. So gold 26.62, silver 31.49. Bon appetit. Last night's game. We have Tennessee wins 31-12. Levis gets hurt diving, not quite understanding he's the quarterback. The other guy, Skylar Thompson, sucked, and Huntley didn't do anything. 31-12 Tennessee, because they go to, where the fuck did they go? They went to a new quarterback. Oh yeah, the guy from Pittsburgh. Used to play at Oak State. Anyway, they went to him. Baker, no, not Baker Mayfield. The guy from Oak State. The name's on the tip of my. It'll come to me in 3 seconds. And Mason Rudolph. There you go. As soon as I stopped thinking about it, it came. So they go to Mason Rudolph and they put up 31 on a weak Miami defense. I didn't play the game. I liked it under 43. It was a push. Detroit 42-29. This is where I had a problem. Seattle with the 14 defense, Detroit with an 18. They barely beat Tampa. They barely beat her, or they lost to Tampa, barely beat Arizona. They're not scoring. And so this I have over circled and starred, and I'm about to bet the over, and I look at the stats and I go, no, I can't play it under because I know it's an over, but Detroit isn't playing over. Now Detroit look like the over team that we understand. I noticed a lot of trick plays with Detroit. A throwback pass to Goff, some other bullshit plays. A big pass to Williams. That's the only way Williams can do anything is they're doing these crossing patterns. Like, we've never seen a crossing pattern before. I didn't realize the Detroit offensive coordinator's never been a coach before. He was at, I don't know, one team as the towel boy. Then he was a assistant at Miami, but he never was an offensive coordinator. He was like a tight ends coach and a quarterbacks coach. And then he comes here 19 and he doesn't do anything. Finally, in 2022 is the first time he ever was a coach. And I don't know where he learned how to be an offense coordinator. He's a good one in the fact they mix it up well. If you start playing pass, they run it. And if you start playing the run, they pass it. It's a good duel. I don't think that Seattle put enough pressure on the quarterback. I thought that was a big problem. Tampa Bay did, and the Rams did. Even Arizona got to him. I didn't see any blitzing. You got to blitz Stafford or Goff, whatever his name is. I mean, that's all you can do. So 42-29. The pick I gave you yesterday, over 46.5, was over 40, and they scored 71. Should have been more. There was a lot of Detroit's a very dirty team. You're down, they kind of hit you. A lot of pass interference and a lot that wasn't called. That Arnold's useless. That's how they teach you at Alabama to cheat. They're all a bunch of cheats there. So he's cheating all over the place, and they probably got tired throwing the flag on him because every time it was a pass interference. He's always touching and getting in the way. He's like Eddie Haskell. He's always a nuisance, but he should have got flagged at least 5 more times. Basically, every time he was guarding the guy on Metcalf was holding him all game. I mean, it's just this is how they teach them. Yeah, grab the guy's arm and we'll see if we get away with it. But they're a very dirty team, Detroit. I don't like that. Hitting them when they're down, cheap shots, a lot of cheap shots. Seattle, again, blew up their secondary. Detroit's weak point still the secondary, and adding the guy from Alabama doesn't help you. He gets a lot of pass interference on him, and a lot of holding. He can't cover, right? And they keep throwing him out there. He'll get better. He's not going to get better. He doesn't understand what he's doing. He's beat, so he holds. That's not going to stop. So if you keep him out there, if you notice how many times they threw to him and to Metcalf, they didn't use Lockett enough. And they didn't use kind of at the end there, they had the ball at the goal line. I don't know why they didn't run Kenny Walker. You ain't stopping him on a little sweep. He's going to score. And then at the end of the game, they get the safety and they get the ball. And again, where's Kenneth Walker? You got to use Kenneth Walker around the goal line, 5-yard line. He'll score. He'll just outmaneuver. He's very, very tough to tackle. You're not, secondary is not tackling that guy. Too many moves, too fast. So again, trying to throw the ball 4 times from the 2 or the 4 or the 5-yard line, you've got to run it. There's no room. Metcalf caught a touchdown and they didn't call it and they didn't review it. I thought his fumble was not a fumble. His knee was down, but they didn't do a nice slow motion where you could see the knee down and then he fumbled. They never showed that. They quickly ran to the next play. Where was instant replay there? What the fuck? Oh, we got to get the call right. You didn't even look at it. Then he gets a touchdown. He gets his knee down, and they, I think they called interference on the play, but it was a touchdown. He got his knee down. He caught the ball. Where was the review? Why aren't they reviewing these plays? He caught a touchdown. I think they eventually scored anyway. They reviewed the safety, but they didn't review his knee down going for yardage. I thought Seattle's offense played a great game. Hutchinson didn't have any. I don't think he had any sacks. They were very adept at that. Geno Smith would smell it, and they dumped the ball to the back, and they did that very well. Lesson learned there. Just I would run at Hutchinson basically, let him come, and then just run it down his throat. That's what you would do to Lawrence Taylor because he was so fast. You couldn't run away from him. You would just run at him and pound him. And that's what they need to do with Hutchinson. They just need to, pull a guard on him and a tackle and just double team him and just flatten him. I would run right at the guy. It's funny how he lines up to the left tackle and then to the right tackle. The Lions were just, what a joke they are. Okay, so the Lions win 42-29. Seattle shows, we really don't have a defense. It's a good defense against Miami and New England. But now we played a team with an offense. So we now understand the differentiations. If they're playing a weak offense, they'll probably shut them down. But against a good offense, they're not good. And there's a lot of teams I'm starting to notice, if they play a good team, they're not the same as they look against other teams, which we kind of know. And that's always the case. And that's what I warn you against is who are they playing? So this morning, just before I go and I bring in my stats, update my grades, and let's look at the line. All right. So starting Thursday, Atlanta 1.5, 43.5 to Tampa Bay. We've got Minnesota 2.5, 40.5 to the Jets's in London at 9:30. So if you're betting this game, I suggest you bet it Saturday because you'll never get up because of the late college games to bet this game. This is a very interesting game. We'll go through it. Washington 3, 44.5 to Cleveland. All right. Baltimore 2.5, 51 to Cincinnati. Everybody's saying how good Baltimore is because they beat Josh Allen, who chokes in the big games. Let's see him against Joe Burrow. Yeah, it's going to be a little different game against Joe Burrow here. He'll eat them apart. Houston 1.5, 47 to Buffalo. Jacksonville 2.5, 46 to Indy. We got the Bears favored again, 4 over Carolina and 42.5. Again, how are the Bears favored? They can't beat anybody. New England 1, 35.5 to Miami. How is New England favored? So after that game last night, they're now went from Miami 1 to New England 1, 35.5. A lot of faith in the offenses here. I mean, you can't play either team. The Niners 7.5, 49.5 to Arizona. 7.5, 49.5. Denver 3, 36.5 to Oakland. Now, is Max Crosby back? Is Devontae Adams back? That's what we'll have to look. They're playing very well defensively, so this would be a great under if Crosby's back and healthy, and Adams is out. This could be a good under because Denver's not scoring, but they got a 14 defense. The Rams in Green Bay 3.5, 47.5. Wow. Seattle 6.5, 43.5 to the Giants. So they give up 100 points to the Lions, and now the total went from 42 to 43.5. 6.5. Seattle shows you an offense. Now, their coach is a defensive coach. He was a defensive coordinator at Michigan for a year. And then he was I think a Baltimore defensive coordinator for a year or two. I like their offense. The University of Washington's offensive coordinator is his offensive coordinator. I don't like their defense. No pressure on the quarterback for a defensive guy. He's not a very good defensive coach. I don't know what kind of head coach he is. Again, you take these head coaches with no experience. What the fuck are you doing? You can't find. See, the problem is the head coaches with experience are fired because they suck. So you really don't want that. But to get a head coach who's never coached before, I don't want a defense. You're my defensive coordinator. You're not my head coach. Let's see. Pittsburgh 2.5, 43 to Dallas. And Kansas City 5.5, 42.5. That's a tricky one. So now you got two wide receivers out for KC and Pacheco. Interesting. So that's pro football. So let's go through it. I took my Celtic salt and my olive oil and lemon this morning. I always do that first thing. Then I brush my teeth because the lemon will fuck up your teeth. So let's go through it. Atlanta, Tampa on a Thursday night. Tampa's got to travel. They look good, and they don't look good, and they look good. So it was a look good game. Tampa Bay is a even team. 25 defense, 25 offense. So they're not really an over. They're not really an under. Again, this is more for me to know what do I do with them. Over and now I haven't filled in the yards yet. That I'll have to do later. I didn't have enough time. I'll do that, in the afternoon. Atlanta's an under team with a 21 defense. So they're playing good defense. New Orleans, they beat 25-24 on a 90-yard kick at the end. Cousins still sucks. Didn't get any better. He drives them, so they have enough offense to drive, but Cousins is just too bad. Their defense, okay, nothing special. It's not like a Steeler defense. Over under 44. I think that's kind of low. I don't do over unders from my own thing. I only put my spread in. Minnesota and the Jets. The Jets are an under team with a 16 defense, and Minnesota's an 18. They're the best team with the 15 defense. They won at Green Bay. Darnold looks good. Now this is what's weird. This is now a road game for both. This is now in London. They got to play at 9:30. Everything's fucked for these two teams for the next 2-3 weeks. So here we're just locking Minnesota. Now we get fucked because let's go to London and fuck up their time So now they're flying to London, I assume today. Then you got to get used to jet lag. Then you got to get used to time change. And then, oh, by the way, practice and play a game. And here come the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, who's, I don't know what his issue was in the rain, but Denver's got a really good defense. Minnesota's got a really good defense. Near the end of the game, I don't know what happened. They had them 28-0 with Love back, and now Love threw 4 touchdowns and 3 picks. So how will they? I think I'll handle Rodgers. This is, I don't know. This is a tough game to figure, but Minnesota is the A team, better defense, and I assume a better offense because they're an A team. They just beat Green Bay, so this is going to be difficult. Flying to London is going to fuck up this game, of course. I think that's why they do it. It really fucks the bettors up, and then they can show it on Peacock where nobody's going to watch at 9:30. I've never watched any of these early Sunday morning. I'm up late with the Saturday night game, and then I'm supposed to wake up for a Sunday morning game that on a different network. Fuck, you got to be kidding me. Carolina, Chicago. Again, how is Chicago favored? Carolina's a Z team with a 32 defense. Now, Andy Dalton probably makes them an over team because he scored 24 on Cincinnati's weak defense, and he put up 30-something on the Raiders. And that's where you differentiate. Now you go, wait a minute, look at the last 2 games with Dalton. They're a 30 offense. The defense is still pretty bad. That's not really a Dalton thing. But the offense is much better than giving credit for. The Bears are an under team with a good defense, a 19 defense. Again, I don't know how Caleb can blow out anybody, which means winning by more than 10 here. No, I just don't see it. Now, it's early. We got to look at injuries, but that's what we got. So it's very, very a poor line here. Baltimore and Cincinnati, both teams are over. Baltimore scores a ton, gives up 22 a game. Okay, Josh Allen got 10, and they're starting to use Henry more. Joe Burrow's back. They're scoring. They will score on Baltimore, a 26 defense. So Cincinnati is not an A team right now. They're an over team. The defense is gone. Baltimore will light them up, but Joe Burrow will light them back. Now, are they going to become an Army-Navy Baltimore running the ball with whatchamacallit, the big fella? Now, I'll think about it. I'll think about it in a minute. Jesus Christ. It's frustrating. Henry. I was thinking Jones or something. Yeah. So with Henry, they're running him 20, 25 times a game. That turns it into a lower scoring game. We did get our 45, but I think with Burrow, he will score on him. A little surprised, Baltimore's a 3-point favorite because of what they did to Buffalo. Well, this is not at Baltimore. They're not playing Buffalo. You're at Cincinnati and Joe Burrow and Chase. Let's not forget that. See, that's the dynamic of it. Everybody's looking at the last game. Oh, look at the Lions. Look at Seattle. Look at it was on Monday. Well, the Lions are off this week, but look at it. But it's not the same. They're not playing the same team at the same place. Now they got to travel to Cincinnati and go meet Chase and Burrow, and good luck there. We'll have to see what to do with it. I mean, I got Cincy as a home dog. I'm licking my chops at that. Over under 51. Again, Cincinnati, 26 defense. Baltimore's going to light them up, but we got Joe Burrow to light them back. So we'll have to determine which way we want to go on this. Miami, a Z team with a 26 defense. So they can't score with 2 out if it's going to be Huntley. He was on the practice squad, and you're starting him. Again, the coach caught off guard, not a very good coach. I find that these coaches do not are not critical thinkers. In other words, it's 4th and 2. Well, the odds say we should go for it, but they're not looking at the other side of the equation. What happens if we don't make it? Oh, we lose the game. They're not looking at that. They don't look at if we don't make it. They're only saying, well, it's 51%. We should go. Oh, is that against Baltimore or is that against New England? Who is the 51%? Oh, that's just a mishmash. That's against anybody. And you're like, oh, you're going to do that against Baltimore? Good luck. Pittsburgh? Yeah. Okay. So you got to be very careful with that. Anyway, so Miami, again, a Z team. New England is an under team, 22 defense. There won't be any points in this game. Who's going to get them? Brissett's terrible. Huntley's terrible. Couldn't score on a shitty Tennessee team. New England doesn't have much, but they do have a defense. No coach. They're like UCLA. Okay, the coach got to win. And then you start playing these better teams, and the lack of coaching is coming through. The Niners killed them. Seattle barely beat them. That's why you didn't think Seattle was any good, but now they're whipping into shape. So that's why. So now we're in week 5. Now this is real football. They throw away 3 weeks because they don't want to get anybody injured, and then you go to Micah Parsons got injured. Yeah, maybe training camp would have helped him. I didn't see the hit, but Washington 344 over Cleveland. Cleveland's an under team with a 22 defense. Deshaun Watson's terrible. Washington, look out. Over team. They're putting up 30 points a game with Jalen Daniels, 40 on Arizona, who held Detroit to 20. The same team you see put up 47 yesterday, they held them to 20. They held the Rams to 10. So I don't know what happened in their defense. Cleveland, Myles Garrett, I don't know, is he healthy? What did Cleveland do last week? They lost to Oakland 20-16. I really think Washington can handle this. I think they score a lot. Shit's 11-20. All right, I got to leave at 12:15. All right. And then I get the haircut and then the pool. So I will do an economics class today. I'll do that Jim Rogers again. I don't know what to do with my money. Put it in gold? Really? I'm too stupid to put it in gold. I have money in the Chinese stock market, which is the most corrupt stock market in the world. Yeah, I'm smart. Another guy who doesn't know what he's doing. All right. See, they don't like me because I shine the flashlight on them and go, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. But everybody else listens to him and they say, oh, the sky is red. Oh, okay, the sky must be red. And you're going, look, it's blue. What are you talking about? All right, so Washington is really scoring. This was Arizona. They with a pretty good 21 defense. This is Cleveland with the 22 defense. I think Washington gets a W here. Indy, Jacksonville. Indy's an E team, so they score about 22-23 with a 21 defense. How long is Richardson out for? This time, the whole year, probably. I think these quarterbacks are getting hurt intentionally because they got these guaranteed contracts, so they get hurt, and they get hit anyway in the game. Like Tagovailoa probably did it on purpose, so he could get hurt, so then he can collect his money without doing anything. I hope they didn't give him the big contract. Totally not worth it. He's not a good quarterback, so I don't know what everybody sees in him. Indy's an even with the 21 defense, which I question, and Jacksonville is a W with the 27 defense. Trevor Lawrence is absolutely horrible. So all of a sudden it's Joe Flacco again. Guy's 50 years old. I mean, can you blitz the guy? This is the problem with the NFL. You got a guy like that who can't move. Just blitz the hell out of him. And blitz safeties. Don't blitz linebackers. Blitz safeties on him. He'll never get out of the way. All right. So 21 defense against the 27 defense. But I don't think Indy's defense is that good. So look out with Flacco, Jacksonville. Those two teams I have they're so bad. It's really hard to bet them. I'm going to bet on Trevor Lawrence. I don't think so. Now I got to bet on Joe Flacco. I wasn't going to bet on Richardson. So with Flacco, maybe it's it's a live dog. I don't know. Buffalo, Houston. Buffalo is an A team with the 21 defense. Houston is an E team with the 24 defense. I got to check injuries here, and we'll get back to you on this game. I'm just shocked. Buffalo. My spread's Buffalo -4. So I'm licking my chops at Buffalo here. This could be the free play, but I got to check injuries first before anybody get hurt. Josh Allen get hurt in the Baltimore game, anybody, and then I'm not afraid of C.J. Stroud against Buffalo. And they got killed, so Buffalo is going to be very strong in this game. But this is what I live for: is this type of dog against this type of favorite, right? Okay, against Baltimore, I didn't play Buffalo. I played the over. I didn't trust either team. Here, I just can't buy that they're going to get blown out by Houston. They should win the game, but it'll be much closer. So possibly the free pick there, but I gotta wait. You gotta check injuries, and you really can't check them for a day or two. Oakland and Denver. Oakland, an E team, 24 defense. Denver's playing very well, under team with the 14 defense. Knicks is starting to get going. 10-9 game with the JETSs, but they held Aaron Rodgers to 9 points, by the way. Oakland is Crosby. There you go. Is Crosby playing? Is Devontae Adams playing? Any new injuries from last week? We got Minshew. Is Brock Bowers playing? So we have to know who's playing before we can fully analyze it, and we don't have those injuries yet. Hopefully get them tonight. I think usually they come out Tuesday and then Thursday or something. Denver's laying 3 with a big defense. Oakland, fairly. So if Crosby's playing, this over-under is 36. Yeah, probably be lower scoring. If he's out, then it's probably a Denver game. But we'll see. You got to check the injuries. Arizona and the 49ers. Arizona's an over W team, so they're over, but they haven't scored the last 2 weeks, so we're confused. 13 on the Lions, 14 on Washington is 13 on the Lions is one thing because their defense sucks, but 14 on Washington with the 30 defense is really crazy. So what's wrong with Arizona? 27 defense. We know they suck defensively. San Francisco, B team, 21 defense. All right, McCaffrey's out. They replaced him. Out to check if Deebo Samuel played, Kittle played, Ayuk played, Jennings. They got receivers. The defense is rounding in the shape. They did kill New England. The way Arizona's playing, though, with this defense, they should have they should be able to win the game anyway. See, here's a 50 over under, which normally I might take, but not the way Arizona's playing. You've got to read between the lines there. That's why I put them as an over and a W, because statistically they're an over, but the last 2 weeks they're an under. They're a W. They have no offense, and where's their defense? Green Bay and the Rams. Green Bay over team with the 22 defense, so they're close to a B team. The Rams are a W team with a 29 defense. Their defense is not showing up after losing Aaron Donald. Total is 48. We got to see what's wrong with the Rams. The Giants in Seattle. The Giants are an under team with a 21 defense. and they need Danny DeVito at quarterback. And Seattle is an over team with a 21 defense, which we question. The Giants last week lost to Dallas 20-15. And now this week, so they're at Seattle. Now we saw Seattle look pretty good offensively, so look for them to start scoring more. The Giants won't be able to keep up with Daniel Jones. Maybe with Danny DeVito, they can. We will see. But they got to get rid of Jones. At what point do you realize he sucks? Right? So Dallas plays, well, Pitt. Pitt won't score on him, but when they play Philadelphia or Washington, and Washington's going to put 40 points on them, especially if Micah Parsons is still hurt. So Seattle 6.5. They look good offensively against this really strong Lion defense, except for their weak point. The secondary looked pretty weak again. I think they got like 350 yards passing on him again. They didn't get to him. He got quick releases, a lot of good passes, a lot of guys wide open when they weren't being interfered with by number 0. Yeah, you don't go to Alabama for, because they're all cheats, right? So he goes to Alabama to draft the cornerback, and then they're playing the guy. Oh, my God. So Seattle, again, 6.5. I'm questioning the 21 defense, but against the Giants, they'll be dominant. Not against the offensive team. Cincinnati, Baltimore, Seattle's going to have trouble. The Giants and teams that have the weak offense, Chicago, they would beat. So we'll look on that. Dallas, Pittsburgh, Dallas, an over team, 26 defense. Pitt, the under team with the 13 defense. Can't believe that game went over. Joe Flacco comes in and fucks their perfect 10-0 record. Hard to believe that one. But anyway, so Pitt's laying 3, 43. Dallas, no Micah Parsons. Super Bowl, 4, 3 Super Bowls they played together. Or 4. Pitt won the first 2. I think Dallas won the third one, and I don't know if there was a 4th. Again, Pitt, Russell Wilson, this would be an easy one with Fields. He ain't going to do anything. Especially, we got to see if how long Micah Parsons out. And the last game is a very good one. New Orleans, an A team with an 18 defense against KC, an under team with an 18 defense. They played San Diego, and it was, 17-10. Again, here, -6, -5.5. Mahomes should win the game. New Orleans went to Dallas and put up a 50. KC's got a pretty good defense. New Orleans, they got an 18 defense, played Atlanta 26-25 or something. I look for a similar game. I think New Orleans is a live dog here anyway, but we will see. So I had a perfect. I lost one game. My whole picks on everything. I had one loser. God, don't make fun of my percentage again, boy, or you'll be regretting it. All right. So that's pro football. I got the stat. I got to put in their offensive stats and the quarterbacks. Once we figure out who it is, all right, let's look at college. Now, I'm just going to go through the lines, and then we'll look at some big games. Thursday night, I was going through it last night watching the game, and I saw about 6 or 7 that I could lock. We start Texas State, 14-58, down from 15 for some reason. Who the hell's betting Troy here? Sam Houston, 10.5 and 50. These are Thursday's games. These are like Conference USA or something like that, Sun Belts. Friday night, Jacksonville State 14.5, 48.5. This didn't have a line yesterday. 48.5 to Kennesaw State, who's a Z team. We got TCU and Houston. TCU 16.5, 49.5. This is my under team, Houston, so I don't know what to do because TCU is pretty fucking explosive. We'll have to see. Vegas 6.5, 59.5, up from 4.5. Vegas with the killer defense. Man, that's okay. Michigan State goes to Oregon Friday night. This is the last Friday nighter. Oregon 24, 52.5. Going to be a long night for Michigan State, because the kicker is then they got to travel to Oregon. Michigan's traveling to Washington. You got to factor that in instead of just the Big Ten going to Indiana. Now they got to go all the way across country, and don't think that doesn't matter. When I fly to Vegas, I'm exhausted, and I'm just going to gamble and bet football games. All right. Penn State, 27.5, 44.5. I'll leave it as it is, 28-45. UCLA is Z team. The Air Force against the Navy. Interesting game here. The Navy goes 9.5, 35. A lot of under betting. Air Force is an under team, but not the Navy. The Navy's pretty strong this year. That Army-Navy game is going to be a good one. It might actually go over for the first time in 35 years. Louisville, 7:57 to SMU. This very, very good game here. Two strong teams, two A teams. Yeah. Louisville off the Notre Dame loss. SMU blew out Florida State. Texas A&M 248.5 to my Missouri team. 2 down to 48. I'm drooling over Missouri being a dog. I mean, it's like to A&M. I get it if it's Oregon, Ohio State. If they Alabama, they'll be a dog. But oof. The Army 10.5, 50.5 to Tulsa. Okay, pretty much stayed. Go Army, beat Tulsa. Tulsa's an over team. Army is very strong A team. 11 defense. Ooh. Virginia 1.5, 51.5 to BC. That was 3.5, so now it's down to 1.5, and it went from 50 to 51. Wisconsin, Purdue, a tale of who are these teams? Wisconsin minus 14 now and 46.5. See, we didn't play Purdue Notre Dame because we didn't know who Purdue was. And then they get killed. They go get killed by Oregon State. They got killed last week. Now we realize they suck. They have no defense. So now that's the point of being patient and waiting and seeing and gathering data. Now we can go, oh, Purdue sucks. Now the problem with Wisconsin, Van Dyke's out. They did play USC decent the first half and then didn't show up for the second half. They don't have that normal 10 defense. It's a 27 defense. So two brand new teams. Pitt, 2.5, 64.5 to North Carolina. Pitt's a road favorite here. Interesting. We'll have to see what to do with them. Northern Illinois, 17.5, 44 to UMass. UMass, the Z team. Northern Illinois beats Notre Dame and then goes into the shitter. So I think if they don't wake up this week, they're not going to. I mean, they should kill Mass. Z team with a 31 defense, but we'll see. NC State, 5:55 to Wake. NC State's gotten crushed twice. Clemson killed them. Tennessee killed them. Wake, a pretty good offense. No defense. We'll have to check quarterbacks, but NC State 286 total yards, but against Tennessee and Clemson. So here they get Wake with the 31 defense. So we'll see. That's why we check quarterbacks. Do they have a good quarterback? I mean, who's their quarterback? I think they do. I think it was Grayson McCall, but I don't know if he's got hurt or not. Tulane, 14.5, 55.5. To UAB. Here they are. I got to be careful. It's not Toledo. It's Tulane. 14.5, 55.5. Tulane's the A team, but the new coach, the new quarterback. UAB looks like they're pretty weak. 28 defense. Tulane's coming on. Western Michigan, 9.5, 56.5. The Ball State up from 7. So you can see why, if you really understand what's going on, why people bet the games on Monday. You could have got a -1. Now you got to lay 3.5. Now I'm not running to bet Western Michigan. They're a W team. Boy, this is a game. Both teams are W. Western with the 36 defense. Ball State with a 49 defense. Jesus. Yeah, probably an over. I'm not sure. East Car 9-47 to Charlotte. South Car, North Car. There's East Car. 9 and 4. Again, a game that was 7 is now 9 and 47. Again, Charlotte's the Z team, but they did beat Rice. East Car, decent team. Marshall 358 to App State was 1. App State's a W team. They still have Joey Aguilar. They don't have much else, though. Their defense is a 36 defense, which is unusual. Normally, they're very good. I think one of their coaches moved on, and then they got a crap coach. Big game, Ohio State and Iowa. Ohio State 19.5, down from 21. Interesting. With the 44.5 up from 44. Both A teams, Iowa with the 14 defense, Ohio State with the 7. Now, Ohio State hasn't played anybody. Last week was their first decent game against the weak offensive Michigan State. 38-7, I believe. 44. I don't know. I mean, again, this is like yesterday. It almost smells like an over. Ohio State, you're not stopping them. Iowa, I don't think has that killer defense. They played a 40 with Iowa State, Iowa. And I can't imagine Ohio State not getting in the 30s and Iowa with the running back not getting in the 20s in this game. So I'm not. So they're both A's, which would make this a dog play. But we'll see. I don't like McNamara enough to trust him, and they're going to key on the running back, so he's going to have to pass to beat him, and I don't think he can. So interesting game, though. This is the 3:30 game. Indiana, 13.5, 41.5. Was 14. And 41.5 to Northwestern. Love Indiana this year. Very strong team, A team, 13 defense. Northwestern under with the 15 defense. So it makes the over in the game hard. 13.5 is a big number, but we'll see. VTech, 8.5, 49.5 to Stanford, up from 7. And 54 is down to 50. So let's see about injuries there. VTech Drones is a good quarterback. They beat Miami and got totally fucked on that call. That's like, well, we want Miami in the playoffs, so no. And not even a review. I mean, the review was pathetic. And they go, oh, they called it a touchdown, and the review did not. I thought the review is supposed to say you have to have confirmed evidence, and they didn't have it and they overturned it. It's, oh shit, it's NBC. Oh, they want us to, Miami has to win the game. Okay, touchdown. No, it's an incompletion. What a bunch of crap that. People are worried about football games being fixed, right? Toledo, 6.5, 44 to Miami of Ohio. Toledo is the A team in the MAC, along with, well, I thought Northern Illinois was. Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio is an under team, but not an A team. They're not scoring. So we will see. 6.5, 44. Bowling Green and Akron. We are in the MAC. Bowling Green 14.5, 51.5. This is why I analyze everything. Is this a good play? Well, Akron's a Z team. Bowling Green's an E. Bowling Green with the 27 defense. Akron with the 40 defense. Bowling Green off of a loss last week, but did play A&M and Penn State good. I don't know what happened last week. Akron with 226 yards of offense. So this could be a Bowling Green against the Z team, which is why we look at every conference, right? You're looking for the Z team in the conference is what you're looking for. And the A team in the you're looking, this is like a horse race where they're in the same group. Not you're racing against Secretariat, you move in class, you're fucked. They're both in the same class. So that's kind of now who's the winner of the class, right? Probably Toledo. Connecticut, 16.5, 50 to Temple. I can't believe Connecticut's favored. And they went from 14 to 16.5. Temple's terrible. Temple's the Z team with the 37 defense. Connecticut just blew out Buffalo. Good team. Look for that. I got another half hour. Georgia. How's Georgia? We haven't seen this. They haven't lost. They're playing off of a loss. 24.5, 53.5, 52.5. To Auburn. Auburn, a B team with a 19 defense. Georgia, still an A team. Showed you they can throw the ball. Hard to stop Milrose, so I don't think it's Georgia's defense is the problem, although it was, I don't know anybody that could handle Milrose with a 15 defense. I'm beginning to like Milrose. I didn't think he was any good after that first Texas game where he threw 3 picks. I said, oh, it's just another running quarterback. Now, under DeBoer, who apparently is a quarterback guru, the guy looks like a superstar. He's probably your Heisman winner at this point, unless Cam Rising gets going. He looked you can't tackle him. He's got all these moves. He reminds me of Flowers from South Florida. That's how Flowers was. He had all these moves, and he could throw the ball. Anyway, so Georgia 24 to Auburn. Auburn not with no quarterback, not a real good offense. A 19 defense, but after what we saw with Alabama's 9 defense, Georgia didn't have a problem putting up points. I think they'll be very pissed at home in this one off of a loss. They're not going to lose 2 in a row. Ole Miss, 9.5, 53.5 to South Carolina, who did light up LSU, let's not forget. And they put up 20 on Kentucky, which looks like a big deal now, considering Ole Miss couldn't do it. So Ole Miss, South Carolina. I don't care Ole Miss off of a loss. They're not that type of team. I doubt they're an 8 team. I doubt they're 8 defense, giving up 20 to Kentucky. So South Carolina pretty live here, I think. Over under, I don't know. The over went up 2 points. We'll have to see. Rutgers and Nebraska, very interesting game. Nebraska 7-41, down from 44. This does look like an under game, although Rutgers can score and Nebraska can score, so it's not too much of that. Very good game here. I think this is a very close AA dog game. Oak State 465 to West Virginia. Okay, well, 4.5, we'll leave it 66. 2 over teams playing. Oak State. They're not running Gordon enough. I don't know what they're doing. They should pound the ball with Gordon, let him break 4 or 5 for touchdowns, and that's it. West Virginia, good offense. Like I said, 2 overs playing, and we'll see. 66 is a little bit high. Well, I don't know. We'll think about it. Fucking Bama, 23, down from 24. Who is stupid enough to bet Vanderbilt here? 55.5. I don't know how you can bet Vanderbilt. Alabama, as we saw, took apart Georgia. We did see their defense slip a little. Georgia was able to throw the ball. Vandy, with Pavia, is a decent quarterback, but more of a runner. I don't know. After Georgia, 20, I mean, they're not going to be flat. They'll just pound away at Vanderbilt. Oregon State, 1147.5, down from 14. What's going on here against Colorado State? Colorado State's a W team. Not much there. Clemson, 14.5, 47 to our Florida State team. Where are they? Oh, here they are. 14.5, 47. Florida State, Ugly Booglia, all I can say. James Madison, 16.5, up from 15 yesterday. 48 to Lou Monroe, who's an under team. They won't score defense. James Madison looks like, Jesus, unbelievable. Coastal Carolina against Old D. Coastal Carolina is 6 and 55 against the Old Deers. Old D did beat somebody decent. I think they beat by Northern Illinois or Buffalo or one of those. Bowling Green, I think. So they're not bad. Coastal Carolina is 28. Yeah, struggling. We'll see. Boise State, 26.5, 66 to Utah State. This is 28, 26.5. I'd like to talk to the guy betting on Utah State here, driving the line down 2 points. Does that make any sense? You're putting this big money on Utah State against Boise. Are you kidding me? Wow. Don't know about that. South Alabama and Arkansas State. Now we got South Alabama in their class against Arkansas State, over under a 62, 3 and 62. South Alabama is a very high scoring team, 29 defense. Arkansas State, 296 of offense. So I'm kind of surprised by this spread, unless there was an injury to the quarterback. They're only laying 3. This should be at least 10. I don't. Again, is somebody injured? That's why you can't just run and play a game. You must check injuries. Oh, because they're not the same team, as you can see, right? Tagovailoa, he's out. Miami can't score. You get Pukanuka and Cooper Kupp out, and the Rams can't score. So as these quarterbacks, Mason Rudolph comes in, all of a sudden Tennessee looks like a football team. So that's why it's very careful to look at the injuries. Lou Lafayette, 1457.5 to Southern Miss, the Z team, Southern Miss. Washington, 2.5, 41 against Michigan. Line hasn't moved. Michigan going West Coast. Not good. Washington with the 12 defense. Should have beat Rutgers, missed 3 field goals. And if they can move on Rutgers, they can move on Michigan. So we will see. Michigan, no quarterback. Big trouble. Iowa State, 12-46 to Baylor. Back here. Okay, Iowa State, 12-46 to Baylor. Good team. Iowa State. Baylor, will they recover from the bad coaching? USC, 8.5, 51.5. to Minnesota. Minnesota came back with 3 touchdowns on Michigan, so they're starting to look better. USC, how they lost to Michigan, I don't know. Now they got to fly, so they flew to Michigan, flew back home, and now they're flying to Minnesota. So it must be a lot of fun being in the Big Ten these years. Nevada, San Jose State, 748.5. San Jose State is an A team. Arkansas, Tennessee, interesting. No, I'm still here. Back here. This game moved from noon to 7:30. Tennessee 13.5 and 60 against Arkansas. Tennessee looks very good, but when they played Oklahoma, it was 25-15. Arkansas's got a 20 defense. They lost to A&M last week, 24-20 or something like that. So look for Tennessee to score. I don't think Arkansas is going to stop them too much, but let's see how Arkansas does on that. Let's see how good Tennessee's defense is. They did give up 15 to Oklahoma. UCF 361.5. Now this has changed. Florida was a 1-point favorite. Now UCF's a 3, and 60 goes to 61. Yeah, I like UCF as the dog. Again, another reason to bet them on Monday. Now UCF's -3 makes but do you really want to take Florida against this team? I don't know. Both teams are over teams. 61 might be doable out there. Arizona State 350 to Kansas. This would have been such a lock on Kansas last year or the year before. Not this year. Daniel's not very. I think he's getting better. Arizona State 22 defense, Kansas 24. So Arizona State's the B team this year. Kansas is an E team. They're not scoring like they were, and their defense is getting a little bit better. So could be a live dog, but I don't trust the quarterback. San Diego State 2.5, 48, up from 46 against Hawaii. Hawaii is actually an under team this year. They're not scoring, and they have a 17 defense. They did play UCLA, who sucks, but still kept them under 20. And San Diego State's always an under team, even with a different coach. Georgia Tech, 7.5, 54.5 to Duke. Down from 8.5. The total stayed. Both are B teams. North Carolina and Duke just played last week. Georgia Tech, pretty good team, good at home. It'll be an interesting game. Miami and Cal. Miami gets to fly from the East Coast south to the West Coast north to play Cal. Miami is 10 down from 13. Woo. And 55 down from 56. That's good if you're thinking over 10. Cal's a very good defense. They got a 12 defense, and again, they went to Auburn and won 21-14. So we'll see, but I think Miami is going to struggle a little bit. Plus, they'll be tired. Plus, as I said, they played Ward at Washington State for the last 2 or 3 years, California. I think the last 2 years. So they know what he's all about. They will be able to defend him. And our last game is Arizona 664 to Texas Tech, up from 5, up from 62. Tech, as we know, explosive, no defense. And Arizona is an E team with the 22. So that's your college. I got about 10 more minutes. Let's check our gold price. Did we move? 26.61. It went back to 65. Now 61. Okay. Silver 31.53. So let's see, big games. We've got Oregon hosting Michigan State on Friday night. We've got, let's see, UCLA goes to Penn State, which would have been a big game last year. Missouri goes to A&M, very good game. Navy and the Air Force. SMU Louisville. Clemson against Florida State. Tennessee Arkansas. Indy goes to Northwestern. Iowa Ohio State, big game. Georgia Auburn off of a loss. Mississippi gets South Carolina. Rutgers Nebraska, very strong game. West Virginia Oak State. Alabama off the big win against Vanderbilt. And all I can say is good luck to Vanderbilt, keeping them under 40. We've got let's see, we got Baylor at Iowa State. USC goes to Minnesota. We got Michigan going to Washington. We got UCF at Florida. Kansas at Arizona State. And then late, Miami of Florida goes to Cal. And Texas Tech finishes it up, our midnight game, Texas Tech, Arizona. So we will see what's going on. Now we got to dig into injuries, which I will do later. So in college, I got everything. I've got the offensive numbers, the defensive numbers, my line, my scores. They're all in here. Again, college class, Friday night, $25. 7 to 8 on Zoom. Pro class is 8 to 9, which I would highly suggest you sign up for after going 9-1 this week and 4-1 in locks. Don't know what you're waiting for now. So that's college. We got to check injuries. I don't know where to check injuries because Covers is not giving us injuries. Let's see if they've updated their injuries in college. I'm seeing September 14th, and I'm not seeing after that. Now we're at October 1st. So we're not getting new injuries in here. So this is useless but you need to know. So I guess go to Yahoo or somewhere else that has injuries. I mean, this is probably intentional from Vegas, so we can't check injuries. So it's hard to bet. You don't know who's in and out. Yeah, I don't see anything after September 14th. I'll have to look for a different site. When I go into Yahoo, scores and odds doesn't give you injuries. I get pro injuries on Yahoo, but there's no injury header for college. College football playoff, really? You're going to do one of those now? What a bunch of bullshit. Crimson Tide should be number one, beating Georgia, especially the way they did. Big Ten changing weight officiates onside kicks after controversial call. Jesus. Let's see. Ole Miss offense falls flat and upset versus Kentucky. Best prices for the Iowa State Baylor game. Oh, Brock Lund taking snaps during practice. This is the Florida State and replacing Uglia Buglia. One missed Peach Ball field goal keeps Kirby Smart from being Ohio State's Ryan Day. Oh, that's stupid. All right. I guess that's it. So, got to check the injuries because you can't bet unless you know who you got. Anyway, so that's pro and college. Good day yesterday. The Lions back to an over team, it looks like. I thought Tampa did a good job, but they didn't score enough. I was surprised Arizona didn't light them up, and then Seattle does light them up. So interesting. Detroit's offense got better after only 20 points against Arizona, who doesn't have that strong of a defense. So very interesting. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm going to have a very quick bite to eat, and then I have to go get my haircut. And since there's nobody, I can't tell. It says nobody watching, but there's always people watching that doesn't pick up there. So any other questions or comments? Very low comments today. Anyway, we'll get ready for this week. Thursday night game, Tampa at Atlanta. London game, the JETSs go and play with Minnesota in London. The stupidest thing I've ever seen. I don't really get it. I don't get. So what? Peacock or Apple or Amazon is paying for this to get viewers to watch their fucking thing. That it's the stupidest thing in the world. The NFL. Oh, we can make money. Yeah, why don't we go to the moon and play? And then, like nobody's going to watch that either. So it's really, you had 2 Monday night games. I'm sure everybody liked the Miami-Tennessee game, especially as exciting as the Lions game was. So I don't know what's going on. It's incredibly stupid. Let's go to London and play. Let's go to Brazil and play. So Brazil, you went, and then you hurt the quarterback, Love. London, you're going to fuck up a lot of guys, their time clock, because they're going to get jet lagged and then have a change in time. What are you doing? I mean, if you were working and you went to London, it would take you 2 or 3 days, and it's not safe there. There's a lot of revolts going on there and everything else. Anyway, buy your gold and silver. It's a joke. Oh, Jim Rogers. Well, I have, what do I do with my money? I don't know. You don't know to buy gold with your money. Are you not a gold person? Do you not understand the value of the gold and the bricks and the gold-backed currency and the fact that dollar's worthless? Do we not understand? It's amazing how many people will buy stock and this and that. It reminds me of my Attack on Wall Street movie where they put him in the real estate. Oh, it's the safest thing. It never goes under. Boom, it goes under. And how everybody was so shocked by it. It's just, the dollar's done. It has no value. What is the problem here? And it's just beyond me. All right, I am going to go. I got to go get my hair cut. I'll be back for econ today. And yesterday I had to run to the library. I had to run, get the new chair which I went to Walmart and they just had these hard chairs. So I got this at Myers, and at least it has some cushions. Anyway, that's about it. So have a good day, and www.teaserking.com. I see a couple of locks already. Couple of free plays. Should be another big week. All right, because now we got more information. We won't get as surprised like Cincinnati losing to Washington. Now that won't happen because now we see they're an over team, and that bet would be over now instead of Cincinnati. That's where you get fooled. You play the team. Like yesterday, I would not have played Seattle in the 10, but the over was the play, which I thought it was, but the stats said under. Now the stats are updated. One game, they give up 47. Now they're back to an over team, as is Detroit. Now they gave up 27 points, which really should have been more. And then you see, yeah, their secondary still sucks. Anyway, have a nice day. www.teaserking.com. I will be back later. All right, ciao.